hello everyone. Thanks for tuning in once again to the Peter Draws Show. This is a video of the largest drawing I've made yet. It's on an 18 by 24 inch piece of paper. This took quite a while to draw, almost 30 hours by my count. I came up with a couple different things to do while I drew, just to keep my mind occupied, and I'll tell you about them. One thing I did was to break up my drawing sessions into roughly 1 hour chunks. I did this by choosing an album to listen to and just drawing and listening to the music until the album was done, and then I would take a break. Then I would choose another album and draw some more. This worked well for me. Listening to an album by one musician instead of some sort of playlist or radio station with mixed contents, endless contents, gave me a sense of continuity and a clear goal. Another thing I discovered and implemented was listening to audiobooks. Often when I listened to these, I was able to draw for several hours at a time, like up to 5 hours without stopping once. There are several different ways you can get audiobooks to listen to. One way is to get a subscription to the online service called Audible. Personally, however, I found the pricing to be somewhat excessive at $15 per month, with one free audiobook every month, and then after that, each audiobook costs like $15 more. It just seemed a little absurd to me, so I looked for other ways to get audiobooks. One thing you can look into is a website called LibriVox, which makes audio copies of royalty-free books available for free. The quality of these seems to be a little hit and miss sometimes, but I think it's definitely a good option if you can find one of their better produced titles. What I ended up doing was just looking on YouTube. You can search for the word audiobook or audiobooks, and you should be able to get a bunch of results. There are several different channels that have a number of books of many different genres, from self-help books to old poetry to teen detective stories to adult sci-fi and fantasy. I listened to 3 different books while I drew this big mandala thing you were watching. First, I listened to Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut, which is a strange mix of sci-fi and World War II narrative, and it was pretty good. Then, I listened to Foundation by Isaac Asimov, an epic and intriguing science fiction tale from tens of thousands of years in the future. Finally, I listened to The Gunslinger by Stephen King, which was just a fascinating and entertaining story all around. Anyways, so now you know how I occupied my mind for the 27 hours it took for this beast of a mandala to take form. In regards to some of my past drawings of this nature, some people have asked how I come up with different patterns to use and how I know what to draw next. Well, first of all, this drawing doesn't have a huge variety of patterns. It's mostly a bunch of little bumps and lines, just rows and rows and rings of them. To provide visual variation, I would just make some of them different sizes, different heights or widths, or I'd color in different parts of some of them. But as far as coming up with new patterns, I'll just say this. Almost any shape or design will look like a cool pattern if you can repeat it a bunch of times. I would say the key is just to be careful and take your time. I know that in this video, it looks like I'm drawing at superhuman speeds, like that robot in iRobot, but I'm actually drawing pretty slow, almost painfully slow sometimes. If you're halfway through drawing a pattern and you mess up a little, it's easy to get all bent out of shape and upset, but instead just go back and do the same thing to the rest of your pattern. A lot of the stuff I drew in this one would look a lot different if I had never messed up and had to go back and change the whole pattern. But as you can see, it's perfectly fine. It doesn't matter. It still looks pretty cool. And you don't really know where I messed up. Anyways, so that's about it. I have some prints available in my Society 6 shop now, including prints of this one, so be sure to head over there if you're interested in owning your own copy of this. I'll put a link in the description. Society 6 makes high-quality stuff, better than I am able to do on my own at the local print shop. Also, if you haven't picked up a copy of my book yet, there's a link to it on Amazon, so check that out too. Thanks for watching, guys and girls. I'll see you next time.